Welcome to the Drop the Needle podcast, your backstage pass to the mystical realm. I'm your host, Jim Allsted, and here, gifted souls step up to the mic sharing their spiritual journey. We're hitting the high notes and the low notes of their awakening, creating a symphony of enlightenment. This isn't just another interview show. This is where divine insights are channeled and universal truths are revealed. So crank up your stereo and sit back, because who knows, this just might help you compose the next transformative chapter of your soul's purpose. Are you ready? Let's go. I'm Jim Allsted, and this is the Drop the Needle podcast. My guest today talks to the other side, people and their pets. And she's got the ink and attitude to make it feel like a conversation with a friend, not a seance. Gina Versace, the inked medium. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's
How are you?
Here.
Well, I'm so
fantastic.
happy you are. Excellent.
Thank you.
You know, Gina is coming to us from Long Island, New York. So seems to be like the home of mediums. There's so many in the area, and
There's thousands of us on Long Island.
I know.
Crazy.
You throw a rock and you hit a medium. That's it's kind of interesting. It's probably the most densely populated area for people with intuitive gifts.
Absolutely.
At least that I'm aware of, anyway. So what I like to do is start everyone off with a little information about you, so you can maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're at, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. I started seeing spirit when I was 4 years old. Literally did not know what was going on. I thought everybody could see people. And it was my great-grandparents, my mother's father's parents. And they would shake the foot of my bed. Now, my light switch was at the foot of my bed on my wall. I couldn't get to it because I would have to pass through these dead people. So I would scream, scary at 4 years old. You're like, who's this? My mom would come flying down the hall. I'm screaming for her. She'd turn on my light. They would go away. She goes, what's the matter? I'm like, nothing now. I'm good. Put the blankets over my head. I'm fine. There's nobody there. I'll stay safe with the blankets over me. And this happened several times throughout the weeks. So she's like, Gina, what's going on? Then I started lying, saying there was a spider or something in my bed, just to get her to come in and turn on the light, and then they go away. So she started telling me, she goes, well, what's really going on? I started telling her what happened. She goes, oh, your grandmother does that work. Nobody could have told me this before. I was suffering for years with this going on. She's like, oh, she goes, you know when you go to Florida and you see grandma invite the girls over? And I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking they're playing cards, Pacino, something like that. No, my grandma was doing group reads.
Holy cow.
I had no idea. There's my little grandma with the hands going like this up in the air, talking about this one and that one. And now when I see myself do a group, I'm the same exact way. So the apple doesn't fall from the tree.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. And I know in our pre-show call, like I say, I talk to everyone before I have them on the show, and I do that for a reason, just to make sure that they're legit and want to get their message and everything. But here's the thing. I met Gina before through a mutual friend, our friend, the lovely and talented Jennifer Weigel, at one of the events. So I knew I had some sense of what Gina was about and who she was, but we were talking, and there's a very interesting connection between the two of us. Gina mentioned 4 years old great-grandparents, and I was just like, holy shit. Same thing happened to me with my great-grandfather, who came to say goodbye shortly after he had passed away, and 4 years old. And
it's a key time.
Yeah, it really is. It seems, well, I know from a lot of the research I was doing for not only, the show, but also my book that I wrote, that, kids are open. They're wide open because you don't have
pets.
Yes. Yes. So I don't know if I mentioned this, and this is obviously about you. It's not about me, but you mentioned pets. And by the way, holy cow, I've got my, sorry,
It's okay.
my puppy is joined us today. And so if you hear something in the background, it may be spirit, it may be my dog. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you.
Acknowledging the spirit that's floating around right now.
Yes.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. So, yeah, so she's in here with us. But I was going to say about, I think it was last year or maybe a little bit longer. I had, I picked up influenza A. So I was sick and I was coughing and things and couldn't sleep because you cough all the time. So I was laying on the couch in our living room and watching Gaia, the Gaia network. And I started hearing somebody it sounded like someone was rummaging around in the pantry for something. And I was just like, And I sat up and looked, stopped, and then laid back down, began again. So it wasn't a critter or anything because I just sat up and looked. I didn't walk over and open up any doors. So the next thing I know, as I'm laying there and I'm watching Paul Anka, who does the channeling, and you know that sound that a pot makes when you're you have a spoon in it or you're moving it around on the shh. So I started to hear that. And I said, for whatever reason, I felt it was maybe my mom, wasn't sure. And I was like, hey, you don't have to stay in the kitchen. You can come here and sit with me and watch TV. So I look over, and this is when I had my Rottweiler, Roxy, and she was she picked up everything. She raised her head up and started like she was watching somebody walking into the living room.
They'll follow it.
Yes. With her, you just watched. And then I said, why don't you sit down next to me? It was like on the love seat that was next to the sofa that I was laying on. And she sat down. Well, I say she. My mom, I think, and I'm pretty sure it was my mom, later confirmed it was my mom, sat down next to me, closer to me. And the dog gets up and comes to the love seat, jumps up on the love seat, and instead, Rottweilers are pretty big.
Yeah.
So, and the love seat's not that big. So normally if she was going to lay on the love seat, she'd sprawl out, but she didn't. She laid on one cushion of the love seat and had her head hanging over like she was sitting next to my mom. And I just put my hand out and left it there.
I tell people to do that all the time so they
can. Do you really?
Yes, I do. Yeah, absolutely. For instance, a friend of mine had a procedure a couple of weeks ago and she was really nervous and her husband is on the other side. I said, put your little hand out like that, talk to him. But first, protect yourself in a bubble of white light. That will keep you safe from anything lurking around that's not supposed to be near you.
Mm-hmm.
Put your hand out, start talking to him and feel his hand in yours. And sure enough, after the surgery, she said, oh my God, I felt him right as I was going out. Hold my hand. They're there. They're just waiting for you to call upon them.
Isn't that something?
Same thing with your angels and your guides. They're literally standing there with a little foot tapping going, call on me. Let's go. I'm here to help.
Yeah,
but
we
I'm not
talked
going to
about
help
that.
until you ask.
I'm terrible at that. I feel like I'm inconveniencing. So that's a me thing.
Oh, they're waiting for you. They're waiting for you to call on them.
I've got to get better at that. I'm not good at it, and I know I'm not good at it, but so I'm sorry I hijacked your show.
It's okay.
So apologies there. So the inked medium. So that brand pairs tattoos with the spirit world, and if anybody's watching, that's good. That's some good stuff you got there.
Back, my arms, my legs.
For real? Oh, excellent. I am definitely behind you as far as that's concerned. I have probably 5 or 6, but on my
nice.
arms. Yeah, I have some bigger work, but anyway, sorry. We're gonna get derailed a lot like this because I think Gina and I have, for whatever reason, we have a really good connection. So
Yes.
it's two old friends talking. So
Absolutely.
Where I was going with that, like the brand of tattoos with the spirit world, and those are two things people don't usually put together. What's the story behind that name?
Inked medium?
Yeah.
I was trying to come up with an email when I first started doing this work. And I just didn't want my name, my regular name. I wanted something that's going to stand out and remind people of who I am. So I said, what am I? I threw around a few names, this and that. And my husband, Rob, goes, inked medium. You're completely and heavily tattooed and you're a psychic medium. And I was like, that doesn't sound silly to you? Because it sounded ridiculous to me.
Of course.
And I was like, nah, it sounds too silly or whatever. But I kept it in the back of my mind. And one of my coworkers, my sisters that do this work as well,
I didn't know that.
No, my sisters, as in spirit family.
Oh.
They're not biologically my sister.
Oh, okay.
But we call each other, brothers and sisters in the spirit world that do this. She always referred to me as Gina Ink. And I was like, what do you call me? She goes, Gina Inked. I go, I was going to call myself Inked Medium, easy on social media handles, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, I would do it. I said, you know what? I go, my husband said the same thing. Let's do it. And that's how that happened, that quick.
That's incredible. And that was my puppy. If you hear that in the background, that wasn't a spirit coming to join us.
They're here. They never miss an opportunity to hang out.
That's something. Another friend, Nick. So,
love Nick. Love Nick.
I do
He's
too.
So talented and so kind.
He really is. What a great young man he is. I really enjoy him. He had said, I had offered it up. Hey, during the show, if you ever want to, jump in, and if someone comes in, you want to read, go ahead and do that. Oh yeah. If spirit moves me, I'll do that. And I that was funny. It was, I didn't even think of that. Yeah. So, it's like, yeah, that was good. And he told me, he's like, somebody there that's got their hand on you, which to me is a namesake. So are you named after someone? And I said, my father and my grandfather. And he goes, yeah, it was your grandfather, big guy, right? And I said, yeah. And so that's funny because I guess he didn't miss that opportunity to hang out at that time. So it was kind of cool. But congrats on the name, by the way. That was perfect. Perfect.
Thank you. It kind of rolls off the tongue nicely too.
It does. It really does. So Gina's Italian, Sicilian, right?
Correct.
Okay. So did anything in that heritage, I know you said your grandmother, your family, faith, superstition, shape how you understand your gift?
Actually, it's so funny because when I first started doing this work, I was in the spiritual closet for a while, if you would. So I didn't know how anybody was going to take it.
Come on out.
Yeah, you got to come out, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I just kind of said, all right, well, I was in classes with my teacher, Pat Longo, God rest her soul. And
love Pat so much.
Oh, gosh, she's the second mom to me. Miss her dearly. And she said, well, you got to jump out of that closet soon. I said, all right, I'm going to do it tonight. So when I called up my mom and I'm like, listen, you're not going to believe this when you're sitting down. She was like, oh, Jesus Christ, what happened? I was like, no, it's good, Ma. And I told her. And then she's like, remember when you were 4? And I said, yep. She goes, and I said told you about that whole thing with your grandma? I said, yes, I do. She goes, well, here you are. She goes, how's it working out for you? I said,
That's
pretty
awesome.
good, pretty good.
That's
but
perfect.
I'm also a Roman Catholic, so this work is a big no-no. But I'm more spiritual than I am religious. So once I found out from Pat that I had this ability to do this work as a psychic medium, and she told me I could help people, I'm 1,000,000% in. That's all it took. Because I saw her out again. Our families go way back. And I said, can I come over for a healing? I'm just not feeling right. And I had a really bad motorcycle accident 20 years ago, September. And she said, sure, come on over, blah, blah, blah. And she was all laughing about it. So she's always in a good mood, you know? So I went over there. We talked for a little bit. And we did a healing. And she said, you're just like your friend Teresa. She's crazy. No, she used to pass out in my office at the oil company. She'd be like, oh my God, I don't feel. I'm like, get off the floor. It's dirty. What are you doing on the floor? Sit over here. Let me get you some water. Holy cow. Never understood it. Heard a few things about it through the years and saw John Edward on TV. Yeah. So putting all this together, I said, you mean like those people? She goes, yeah. I said, nah, just do your hocus pocus, get whatever it is, make it go away, and I'll see you next week. She goes, yes, I'll see you next week at my class. You got some downtime right now. You just had an accident. Come to class, see what this is about. I said, all right. She goes, you don't look too excited. I said, I don't know what to expect. She goes, you could help people. I said, really? She said, yes. I said, see you Tuesday at 10? She goes, Tuesday at 10. Within 2 weeks, I was reading people in class. Within a few months, I was taking people at home as clients after work. I was a director of credit and collection management for a multi-billion-dollar company. And my clients started coming. That became more so than my regular office job. So I went part-time. And then I took this on full-time, gratefully.
Wow, isn't that funny? Those little twists and turns in life that you never expect to happen lead to where you are today.
Yes,
it's just amazing. It is. But here's the thing about all of that. I think, and I was talking to someone actually yesterday, a friend, and we were talking about how to receive and how to see different things that are coming in. And it was being open to that, because I think so often we're closed off to those signs and what we're seeing.
Absolutely, because we're so busy here in the physical world. A lot of times we have blinders on and we don't even know it. So you're not going to see that coming to you unless somebody said, hey, did you know, blah, 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 and they validate who it is and they tell you the signs that they're sending you. That's what that was. People think it's going to be this big, grand horse with wings flying by.
Right.
Very well, it could be, but most likely it's everyday things. And our mind is so preoccupied with home, work, family, you miss the daily signs. I always say you don't need to go to a medium. You could do this yourself if you know how to recognize the signs. You have to be open to it.
So speaking of being open, and if anybody wants to try something like this on their own, what do you recommend they do to get in that, well, let's call it a state?
Absolutely.
To take, to be able to see those things.
Absolutely. First and foremost, put a bubble of white light protection around you. That will keep the good to come to you and will keep the negative out. Won't even have a chance to come near you. It's kind of like a prison guard. You could look at it like that.
It's a prison
guard. The white bubble of white light is a prison guard. Keeps you safe and keeps all the riffraff out. Definitely start doing that. Put a bubble of white light around you right before your feet hit the floor in the morning when you get up. Little bubble. And then meditate. Relax. Some people think you got to be all like, and all that. Nah. You could meditate in quiet. You could put on your favorite kind of music, whatever you want. And just sit with yourself. Listen to the birds chirp outside. Relax. Deep breaths. In for a count of 4. Hold it for 4. Release it for 4. Then now you're protected. You're relaxed. Ask questions. Okay, who's around me right now? Let me know who you are. If it's so-and-so, this one, that one, you're going to hear answers in your head, in your own voice. Don't listen for their voice. You're going to hear it in your own voice. Ask another question. Something you do not know the answer to. They're going to give you the answer. And you just start talking. Okay, send me a sign. I would love a sign. Don't put a time frame on it. Just ask them for a nice little sign. And sure enough, when you get that odd sign coming through, like the weird dragonfly landing on your head as you're swimming in the pool,
Ah,
Come on. Like the strangest things can happen. And just practice and learn and practice. Talk with your guides. I don't know exactly who all my guides are, but I see them. I can smell them. I can hear them. Like right now, to my left, right over here, I have my Native American Indian warrior. He was my second guide I ever knew. He's with me whenever I work. He's with me if I'm in a medical situation. He's with me when I'm on my Harley. He's just always there. I could smell sage and I hear his headdress. The feathers ruffle around when he's near me. And then I look and I can see him. And he's like this, standing in my corner. And he just gives me the nod. It is the cutest little smirk on him. He's like a little dimple in his eye.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. He's with me all the time. And when people say I'm so alone, you're never alone. Your loved ones and your guides and your angels are always around you. Always.
That's interesting that you say that we're never alone. And I'll tell you why. Because when I had my awakening on New Year's Eve 2019, I was actually sitting alone on New Year's Eve on the beach on Marco Island in Florida. And you wouldn't think that you'd be alone on New Year's Eve, but I was. There was nobody else out there. And I was, and this isn't light, subject matter, but I was contemplating suicide, walking out into the Gulf and just, insurance is paid up, all that stuff. Family's better off without me, all that nonsense. And I just said to myself, and I was having conversations before this. They were like full-blown conversations, almost to the point of argumentative from me, not that voice. And I said, I just feel so alone. And the voice said, you're never alone. We are always with you. And when it was happening, it was all surreal and in the moment. So I didn't have an opportunity to go back and, pick anything apart until later. And so I just find it interesting that you said you're never alone, because that's the message that was so loud and clear to me.
I just got chills.
And so, something else from the conversation yesterday that I was having with a friend is being able to say, oh, that was a figment of my imagination, or no, that was real. Here's the reality of that situation. Your brain can't tell the difference between the two. Mm-hmm. It literally cannot tell the difference between something that you're making up, which is why sometimes when you have these memories or recollections of something, it's so vivid. It brings you back right there to that time, that place, and whatever else. And it's
like music does.
Yes, exactly.
Right there.
That's exactly right. And it's just, I guess where I was going with that is does it matter? Probably not, because what is reality? It's what you make it, right?
I was just going to say that. Yes, it's exactly what you said. What you make it is reality.
I don't know. It's such a deep topic that you can spend an entire.
Well, I'm grateful you're still here.
Well, thanks. Thanks. There was obviously a reason that I'm supposed to be here, because my story has not been completed yet. So
that's right.
And that's why I'm here. But, and I think that's probably, again, why you're here. You said you had a motorcycle accident. And so I've been in one, and I was fortunate. That had to be something to lay you up that long. What happened?
It was brutal. I was at the light, and I was turning left. I threw my bike into first, and I went to go, and there was an old lady. Now, I was like 32 when this happened, 33? No, 36. And she was like almost 90. She shouldn't have been driving. She had an 8-year-old granddaughter in the back.
Oh my
She was in
gosh.
the left lane, like going towards me. I was making the left. I had a green arrow. I went. She was in the left lane, saw the green arrow for the turning lane, thought it was green arrow to go. She went, T-boned me.
Oh my God.
I fell. I went over. Somehow, my bike's 1,000 pounds. I lifted my bike up. I looked at her, and I remember seeing like Pathfinder, because that was the vehicle she hit me with. And then she hit, I was like, oh, Jesus. She hit me again and dragged me like 20 feet. And it happened so slowly that I remember thinking, if I could have just given it gas when I stood my bike up, she might have missed me, but there's no way she would have missed me.
She kept going after hitting you.
Yeah, moron.
She must have
For lack of better
freaked
words.
out. Oh
And
God.
I was like, oh, great. So now I'm thinking, hot pipes. This lady is on my hip. That's how far up she was. I'm still on my bike. And I braid my hair when I ride. It was wrapped around my right mirror. So I was like this.
Oh my
I
God.
thought something happened to my neck. I'm like, I can't move. Like, what the hell happened? And then I'm like, oh, it was just my braid. So I undid that. And I miss safety when I ride. DOT helmet, leather jacket, boots over the ankle, all safety stuff. So 2 guys came out of nowhere and with my husband and lifted the truck up. I got out from underneath it and I crawled to the middle of the intersection. I took off my helmet and I'm looking, make sure my collarbones. I used to EMT. So I'm like checking myself out.
Yeah.
And I look at my leg and I could see my bone. Brand new pair of Levi's. And I was like, oh, well, that's not good. And I looked at my ankle. It was twisted in. And I was like, oh, great. Now I got to go to the hospital. I'm all calm. I was in shock. I'm all calm. So his cop finally comes and he goes, do you need an ambulance? And I look at my legs and I'm like, you think? And he goes, oh, should I call? I go, give me a radio. I'll call it in myself. I called it. I was like, really? And from that point on, I met so many wonderful people between my doctors, nurses, the lady that IV'd me in the ambulance, just great people, one after the other after the other. So that kind of gave me a lot of downtime to build this back up. And it just worked in my favor. Everybody's like, how could you say you were grateful you were in such a bad motorcycle accident? It brought me back to where I needed to be and gave me the time to study and go to class and learn how to help people. I mean, my neck is fused in 2 places. I have enough metal in my neck and my ankle. I could build a Harley. But I say, it helps me channel.
That's your antenna. Built-in antenna, right?
There you go.
Holy
So if you don't laugh about it, you're going to cry. So I prefer to laugh. And that's it.
You and me
So
both.
many surgeries later, I'm like the Bionic woman. They rebuilt me.
That's great. Oh my gosh. You said hot pipe, because, hey, anybody that's ridden a motorcycle knows that you rub your leg against that, a bare leg against that, that's going to leave a mark.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Super hot. So you had mentioned before the show started, you're a big pet person.
Yes.
And you connect with both human souls and animal souls. Is it a different kind of connection, or does it feel the same on your end?
Exactly the same. If a dog was to come through, I usually feel like their head on my lap and their warm breath, or I'll feel their tail smacking up against my leg. Wow. And that they will speak just like a human would. Anything with the soul can be channeled.
Oh my gosh.
So I've channeled a horse, cats, dogs. I've channeled a snake. And am I really talking to a snake right now? And the guy was like, and I'm describing it. And the guy goes, hold on 1 second, and pulls down a photo of him with his snake all around him. And I'm like,
get out of here.
It was like Petey or something like that, his name. I'm like, Petey. I'm like, that's exactly how I see him.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
Crazy. Or another gentleman, I was channeling his dog. And it was a big German Shepherd. And those are my favorite kinds of dogs. And I literally felt him like nudging up against my leg as I was reading. And I felt his hot breath on my lap. And then I'm like, I look at him, I go, why is he wearing a fedora? It's a gray fedora with a black band and like a little purplish, reddish, burgundy feather. The guy turned white. And I'm like, are you all right? And he goes, hold on 1 second. He leans over his computer, and on the wall, he had the fedora, was
Get
his.
out.
Put it on his dog's head. And every
Oh, my
time
God.
he touched that hat, the dog would want it. You can't make this shit up. It is wild,
Wow.
the things that
So
unbelievable.
has there ever been a moment where an animal came through and it surprised you or surprised the person you were reading for?
Oh, yeah. Just like that gentleman with the dog with the hat.
You know,
It was like the last 10 minutes of his reading. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, we got somebody new popping in.
okay. I was going to say, if somebody's ever, a pet owner and it just has been around the pet, it doesn't even have to be around the pet for that long, but if you have been around the pet for a long time, they become such a part of you. And because there's so much love there. So it's not surprising to me, especially if it's recent, that a pet would come in. I was just curious because sometimes, somebody could have had a pet when they were a child.
A little kid.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
will come through as well.
No kidding. Okay. So that was what that came to mind with me because you mentioned the 8-year-old, and I was like, I wonder, 8-year-old me, because I've had pets basically all my life, and it's the hardest thing for me. It's not hard while they're alive. It's hard when they pass.
I grieve them worse than I do my human.
Me too. As a matter of fact, I've got one of the tattoos that I've got is my Roxy's paw. I had to shrink it down because her paw was so big on my forearm in the day that she passed, or I had to put her down. And,
I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh. Talk about, I'm 6 feet.
Did you get that last look from her?
I did.
She was
not
that
then.
when they look at you like that right before they leave the physical world, that's not like, oh my God, why am I here? I am scared. No, they're making sure you're okay. So you being there, I love you, and the crying and the holding and all of that, they're there like, that's wonderful. That feels amazing. Thank you for the support. But they don't realize what's going on. They think they're just going to sleep at night. And they're looking at you going, why are you upset?
Yeah.
They want to make sure you're okay. And then they cross over and they meet and greet everybody that they knew here in the physical world and people and animals that passed before them that they interacted with. So just like us, when we cross over, we see all our friends, families, generations prior that we never met. Oh, hi, I'm your great-great-great-great-grandfather. How you doing? Oh, my God, really? Everybody comes together.
That's so cool.
Absolutely.
That brought me back to that tough moment. It was really, really difficult. Like I said, I'm a big dude, 6'2", and just a big guy that it looked like somebody had maced me when I left that room. It was miserable. But the thing about it is it's interesting because sometimes I'll even know when she's here. Interesting story about her. I was out, so she used to come out with me to meditate. I would go out. We have a pool and out on the deck, and she'd sit up there. I'd meditate, and then we'd come sit, and I'd drink coffee, and she'd lay in the yard and all that sort of stuff. And I was thinking about in the Spiritual Social Club, there's people that take these pictures of orbs. Like some of them are just glares and lenses, and you can tell, oh, the orb's
Yes.
following you. No, it's not. It's a glare. It's too perfect. It's the glare. But there are some times when you do
You
get
could
them.
see the way it moves.
Yes. Because
Did you video a room that you guys would hang out in?
So no, what I did is I was thinking about it, and I said, I wonder why it is that I never get these orbs. And the sun was coming through. She was sitting and just kind of basking in the sun. And I grabbed my phone and I took a picture of her. I took a few pictures, of her in the sunlight, because you ever see those pictures where you can just see the rays of the sun come down and hit the image? So that was her. And I took a few pictures, and I was looking at them later, and I said, as I was thinking, I wonder why it is that I never see these orbs that everybody else gets. And going through 1, 2, 3, third picture, I see this little green orb, like in the grass. I'm like, well, what the hell is that? And is that a golf ball? And I'm, zooming in on it. Sure as shit, it was an orb in the grass. And I looked at it as I blew it up. And I should probably put it in the show notes for this episode.
I would love to see. Yeah.
The design inside on that orb, you could see this geometric image, right? This, and I showed it to one of my friends, and who's in the spiritual world, and she says, that image is sacred geometry. And I was like, what? And she goes, no, here. And she sent me a picture. She said it's similar to this, and I was like, oh wow, okay. But it's interesting. So I'm sorry you got sidetracked.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was kind of cool, because I was just thinking, why am I not? One of those complaints. Why does everybody else get that and I don't?
And we get different things at different times. They know when we need it. Just like my dad sends me 444, which I have one of my many tattoos on my back. I have that back there. And he sends me red-tailed hawks. I'll be walking out of my house to go do an event. A red-tailed hawk will come so close it'll move my hair, fly right by me.
I'm like, here.
Gotcha, Dad. I'm like, thank you. I'll be driving. I'm going to a doctor appointment. Dad, I'm a little nervous. I don't like doctors, but I gotta go. And little blood work action, the whole nine. I'm like, send me a sign that you're with me. I know you're with me. I could smell your Old Spice. There's Carpenter's on the radio. That's one of his favorites. I'm like, just give me something that I'm going to like, oh my God. So I'm slowing down to go at a light, and a car goes down a side street. I'm behind a white van. The last few numbers of the phone is 444.
Oh,
I'm like, love you, Dad. Got it. Thank you. I'm on my way home. I'm passing a bank that he used to manage. Again, another white van. The number on the van was 444. Like you have, van 443, 444. And I was like, that was so freaking cool. Right on Post Avenue in Westbury, in front of the bank. I'm at a light, and there's the 444. I'm like, I love you. He's so good at communicating. It's ridiculous.
That's great. So, like with me, I'd look at that and go, and move on by. Oh, that's cool.
To keep going.
yeah, that's my world. So you've mentioned, and you talk about circle of spirits, family, friends, people who come through most. Can you walk us through what that actually looks like?
Exactly, just like who my loved ones are on the other side that come through a lot? Or
no, when somebody comes through and you say, oh, so-and-so's here now, what does that look like?
Great question. As I look at you, your mom's side of the family, or anybody that I read, comes in over their left shoulder, and their father's side will line up over their right. And contemporaries, people our own age, cousins, the kid you grew up down the block with, will be directly behind you. So they do it like that for me because I love doing family trees when I was in elementary school. So your mom's side was over here, your dad's side was over here. So that's, again, my frame of reference is what they work through. For example, if somebody was a hockey fan, they'll show you my team's logo, but it might not be their favorite. So I'll say, who's the big hockey fan? But I know they're going to be a hockey fan because they'll show me my New York Islanders.
I was going to ask you, Rangers or Islanders?
Oh, Islanders all day since 1975.
Awesome.
Die hard.
That's awesome. You know what? You strike me as somebody who would like hockey too. You do. I've Blackhawks, here, Chicago.
My second favorite team. I love Chelios.
Oh
loved
my God.
him.
Love
him.
Well, I'm going to tell you, as you probably know firsthand, hockey players are the best, man. They are so humble and open and approachable. And you're thinking
Completely.
well, back in the day, Bob Probert was an enforcer. Remember Probe?
Oh, I have videotapes of his fights.
Oh my God. He was such a badass. I mean, and his hands look like catcher's mitts. I've got big hands. I mean, you can't tell. I've got big hands, and he had bigger hands. And I met him at a Blackhawks event because I was a season ticket holder at the time. And he was so nice. What can I sign for you, Mr. Allsted? Oh, excuse me. You know, and then Chelios. Oh, he was fantastic. Well, he was fantastic. They were all so cool. But Chelios had his restaurant by the United Center. And then he also had a place in the Aurora, Naperville area. And he would come to all the time. And when we'd go by, after the games, go to Cheli's because they would eventually get there. And they would let you sit there and, hey, can I get you a beer? And no, let me get you a beer. You just came from the game. Let me get you a beer. They were just so cool and tough as nails. Oh my gosh. These guys.
When I was,
oh my God.
I was a little girl and we used to cut out of school, take the bus down to the Coliseum when we still played at the good old barn. And we would wait outside where the players used to walk in. Mike Bossy, Tonelli, Stefan Persson, Alan Kerr. They'd be like, you want to watch us practice? We'd be like, yeah. They would let us in. We'd sit in like 118X. That's where they would come out to the ice. And we would watch them practice. Jim Pickard was their like equipment manager. He'd be like, you guys want a tour of the locker room? So my sister, my girlfriend, Deb, and I would be like, yes, please. We'd walk back. Oh, it smelled awful.
Yeah.
But you're like, wow, Stanley Cups were hoisted in here. And we watched the other team practice, and then we would go home. Wow. It was just so much. Oh, they would give us their sticks. They would bring us Easter baskets if it was around Easter. It was crazy. And these, like now, they were like untouchable back then because now you can get a hold of anybody on social media.
Yeah.
But back then, to sneak out of school and take the bus.
Sneak out of school.
Badass back in the day.
Yeah, it was. No, that's.
And we're coming home with hockey sticks on the bus, so we felt safe.
So you felt safe. Somebody messes with you, whack them with a stick.
Cross check, yeah. Slash.
Yeah. How'd you like that?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
They make me drop them.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I just love hockey. I think I have an appreciation for it because I can't even skate. So I love those guys. They're great. I do have a question for you because again, before the show started, we were talking about readings. And so like the question that I have is, what's the difference between like a private one-on-one reading and a group reading for you? And the reason I'm asking this, because I'm curious is to know, does the spirit show up differently depending on the room?
They will always give you what you need, not what you want. What I mean by that, you might want to hear from Uncle John, but grandma might come through for you in a group reading. So group readings are what I call, they're a little, just like when we did the social club together. It's a little bit, you get a few minutes, each person gets a few minutes, validations, messages, and then they pull me to another person. So I'll be all over the place like that. And it'll be detailed and straight to the point, but you're not going to get, usually, I mean, sometimes this does happen, but you're not going to get the deep down, like, oh my God, how did you know that messages? You will, but not as much as a one-on-one. That's when anything goes. They'll say certain things that they might not want to say, because if you're in a group setting, let's say a couple hundred people, you're going to know the guy next to you really well by the end of the night. And some people might not want that. So a lot of times, depending upon whose spirit is, they might curb it a little bit and then really open up during a private, or some go, this is me. I'm just going to say it the way it is, and that's it. And you might be like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. So you got to pick and choose how you want your information to come.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, so they've got manners. they can read the room too. So
yeah. But if like say your mom was like, always like to send it in a little bit. However, they were here in the physical world.
Yeah.
She will be like that on the other side coming through as well.
And that's so funny you say that, because I was just thinking, seriously, my mom would be like, fuck it, I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. and she would. And it's like,
oh yeah, care. She's like straight to the point with no fluff around here.
No.
I just heard her say that.
Yeah, she was so nice too, which is the funny thing.
Big heart on her. She's like,
yeah, well, I mean, she was amazing. She really was, and her laugh was something else. It was
incredible.
Yeah.
Do you ever hear it?
Yeah, I do. Right now, I just did.
Yeah, I just did too.
Yeah,
that's why I said that.
Yeah,
and I just got chills. That's her soul just moving through us right now.
Is it? Oh, so
she's like, I'm here.
Me too, right now. Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't know if it was her or who's with her that had either the Alzheimer's, dementia, aneurysm. There's something with the head going on. And I also have a male with her with heart, lungs, or chest, like this area, the labor.
That was my grandfather. That did the aneurysm. I'm not sure. I'm sure that there was. I'm almost positive, and I'm trying to remember who it was, but there was someone.
There's like 3 altogether right now. 2 others with mom.
Oh, you know what? That could have been my aunt for all I know. My aunt Shell, her sister, and she also had my mom had a brother, Eddie, who drowned. So he comes. It's
laboring my breathing.
Yeah, he comes through every once in a while.
Thank you, because that's who it was, because he just released that from me, and I just took a deep breath effortlessly.
Okay.
So it's your Uncle Eddie.
Yeah, who was my grandfather.
Eddie
was
too.
Eddie. Did you really? Look, I'm telling you, there's way too much.
We're so connected.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. So I know that you do a fair amount of charity and community work on Long Island. What draws you to those events specifically?
The ability to help people. That is why. I just love to be in an audience, and it's the roller coaster ride of emotions. People are crying, we're laughing, we're chit-chatting together. It brings everybody together. So if it's say an animal shelter, which is my favorite type of charity, veterinarians, animal shelter, anything to do with animals. And just to see them, laugh, cry. And then, like I said before, the guy next to you, you don't know who they are, but by the end of the night, you guys are hugging and crying together and healing. So just like Pat told me, I could help people. It's exactly what I'm doing. A couple of hours out of my evening to donate my time to help raise money for animals and to help people. I'm 1,000,000% in. That's why I love doing this work.
That's so cool.
Some people have like all these great explanations. Nope, that's it. Plain and simple. I just want to help.
I love that. And with your connection with the animal shelters, rescue work, and reading animal spirits, it really sounds to me like animals are a through line in your life, on and off the table. Where did that start?
I was in single digits, and I used to have 2 gerbils, Pixie and Dixie, were my first pets. I think I was in like kindergarten.
I remember that cartoon.
Yeah. And they were in my room, and I got to take care of them and feed them. Then as we got a little bit older, still like single digits, my mom got us a cat, Boots. Not long after that, we got Thumper. I had goldfish too. So growing up, we always had pets. They would all sleep with me. So I was like, the more the merrier, come on. Even to this day, all my cats sleep with me and everything. If I was to go outside and my cat caught a mouse, a bird, I try to nurse it back to health if it didn't kill it. Just had yeah, they get crazy out there. Snakes. They bring in snakes. And garden snakes, nothing crazy.
Yeah, right.
But I love them too. Just so, like, such empathy for animals. Like, if I see one squished on the road, I'm like, I send it light. I'm like, oh my God, I hope you made it over to the other side safe. It breaks my heart. It's the empath in me.
Oh my God. So, people can have more than the one awakening.
My abilities change, and you elevate, and you get higher and higher, and different signs and symbols will come in. And the way I read now, hear, see, feel, taste, and smell spirit is a lot different than when I first started. And you just develop more. It's all practicing and learning.
So that's
they
interesting.
Will take you to different levels.
You mentioned all of the different clairs there, because not everyone gets all of those clairs firing off. Did you always have that, or was that something that,
yes,
as you were talking about leveling up?
Oh yes, that day one, I was like, I'm like, who's Claire? I was like, chakra who? What? I'm like, Claire from the Breakfast Club?
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, I had no idea. And I was like, wow, that's what that is. Or, when you can smell really good, or you see clearly, hear. I was like, that's what that is? And I never was able to put it to anything because I never knew what it was. I just thought it was normal. That everybody could. And I'll be like, you don't see that when I was a kid or a teenager? You don't smell that? And people just thought that I was just, you're sensitive. Like, I am not.
Yeah, right. Don't call me that. Yeah.
Yeah, please. I'm tough.
That's, oh my gosh. Yeah. Don't get me started on that. That was my you're too sensitive. I don't think so. And that's part of it too. I'm wondering it helped, I suppose, having your family being at least aware of the fact that there are people with gifts from your grandmother. When you're talking to your grandma about that, did she say anything about, her Italian family? Was she first generation, or was she second, your grandma?
First here.
Okay.
All my grandparents came off the boat.
So did she talk about that family back in Italy with those type of gifts?
Yes. And it was real normal where over there. It's really? More, they frowned upon almost here up until, I want to say the past 20 years or so. It was like, that's woo-woo, that's spooky, that's not good. And it's so the opposite, because we work in white light protection. We do healing. We're helping you communicate with so-and-so on the other side, just to let you know that they're safe and okay, loving and guiding us. It's not like, so-and-so saw you do that and they think you're a jerk. No, it only comes through a positivity, love, and light. So if it was something bad, how could all that goodness come from it?
That's very cool. And I think that you brought up a good point there too, with the white light, loving light, God, spirit. I know that there are people that channel things, or they receive messages that maybe aren't from, that positive place or good place or good intentions. Did that ever happen to you? Did you ever get anything like that? Oh, wow.
And it won't. When I first started doing this work, you set boundaries with your spirit guides and your angels. And you said, I don't want to know when I'm going to die or anybody else is going to die. I just don't want to know that. To me, that's negative. I only want to bring positivity and helpful items to the table. And once you set that up like that, you tell them, okay, I'm going to be doing this work, blah, blah, blah. And you just say what you want, what you don't want, and how you want it. Sometimes they'll send you information in a different way because you're not picking up on the way that they sent it to you first. So you might not catch it, you might not see it. Or sometimes I'll be like, what are you saying? Could you send that to me differently? As I'm having a conversation, and they'll send it to me a couple of different ways until it's part of my frame of reference, and I could pull it in and describe it and talk about it. But nothing negative will come up except, and it's not negative, it's preventative. Tuesday, don't miss that cardiologist appointment. He's going to lower your cholesterol medication or what have you.
Okay.
But that
Okay.
said, I will not get anything negative. And they can't come to me. If you're a negative person and you might try and hurt me or my family, I'll give you 3 appointments right off the bat. If you can't take any of those, I know you're not meant to be read by me, and I'll send you somewhere else to another coworker.
Right.
And that's how they keep me safe.
And that's good, because I don't know that everybody has those healthy boundaries that are set.
And they need, even if you don't do this work, you need boundaries in life.
You absolutely do. And so I think sometimes, well, let me start by saying, I think that you were fortunate to have had the mentor that you had in Pat, because not everybody works the same way that she did or does.
Correct.
And I also think that there are people that start to, let's say, play or experiment with the gifts that they have without any mentorship or direction. And I think
danger.
That's where, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I'm talking about or thinking about, where, you know, if anybody's listening out there that has is starting to get some of those things coming to them, it's good. But what Gina's already mentioned about surrounding yourself with a white bubble of light, as a matter of fact, Pat's meditations, the white light meditation, is on Apple Music, and you can get that on Apple Music, and you can listen to it.
Yes.
And that's a great meditation.
I still use it to this day.
I do
Before we logged on.
Yep.
Every day.
It's one of those that's actually, I have a sequence of meditations that I use, and that's usually the one that starts my day.
Get you right in the zone. As soon as I hear her, boop,
Yep.
I'm right there.
Yeah, every time, and it's kind of my go-to. And it's funny that I'll mention it to some of Pat's students that I know that were her students and in the circle, and they'll say, I haven't heard that in a while. I've got it right here. Let me send it to you. Oh, thank you. It's like a warm blanket, that familiar
Thank you. Yes.
friend that's
Absolutely.
just like, I gotcha, and you start with that. So you had mentioned Pat, and you had also mentioned Teresa Caputo. Yeah, that's what I thought. And so you guys were buds and you worked together? Is that what?
Yes, at the oil company.
Wow, what a small.
Yeah, Larry was there
world.
too.
Get out.
He was our service manager, actually.
Get out.
Yeah, we used to have so much fun there.
World. Oh my gosh.
So much fun. Oh my God. And one of my father's friends was the general manager there. That's how I got in.
Oh, no kidding.
And yeah, what a great guy. I learned so much about business at that company. It was great. And we worked hard, especially in the winter. You would have to take service calls on a Sunday, every other Sunday throughout winter. And people were like, oh my God, I got to give up a Sunday. It's fun. It's like no heat, no hot water. You put the call on the computer, they dispatch the servicemen. And people would bring us food if it was around a holiday. And
how cool.
Yeah, we just kind of like hung out, cranked up some music, and we took the calls and helped the service guys out. It was interesting.
It's community, right? I mean, that's what that's all
you're
about.
Just helping people. And I loved it.
And that's one of those things that I think in today's world, we're so predisposed, and out of necessity, don't get me wrong, to make money. And a lot of times we just kind of lose sight of the fact that there's something bigger than us. Correct. And bigger than paying the cable bill. And it's those that are around us. And it doesn't have to be a monetary thing. And I know you do a lot of volunteer work and things like that. So that's a way to give back too. It doesn't always have to be money,
and it makes you feel so good. But at least it makes me feel amazing knowing that I could help somebody and they didn't have to pay or anything like that.
Right.
I had a sweet girl that works at the physical therapy place that I go to. And she had lost somebody very, very close to her. So when she got back to work, I was there and I said, call me whenever you're ready. So a couple weeks later, she called me and we FaceTimed and I gave her a reading, just about 40 minutes or so, however long it lasted, 45. She goes, what, I'll give you money Monday when I see you. And I said, sweetheart, no. I go, I took on the responsibility, having these abilities so I could help people. I said, I feel amazing that I could help you. That's all I want to do.
That's beautiful.
And I was like, when I'm working out, refill my bottle of water. That's payment.
Right.
No problem. And she was
Thank
like, okay.
you. Thank you. No, that's
Little
awesome.
things like that. Or like somebody will say, hey, my friend's sister, da, da, da. All right, let me give them a call. It doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes I'll have like 3 or 4 in 1 month. Otherwise, I won't have them for a couple of months, and then it'll come through a couple again.
That's great that you do that, though. I mean,
I can't help myself either.
So I know there's a person that I know. Actually, so my day job, recruiting, talent acquisition, and a few years ago, I had placed a gentleman who worked for a pharmaceutical company, and we met for lunch a couple of weeks after he started, and he goes, my wife would really like to talk to you. And I was like, he goes, if you're okay with that. And I was thinking, his wife must be a scientist as well, chemist. And I said, who's she work for? No. This isn't work related. And he goes, well, she had a near-death experience and she is a medium and she talks to people from the other side. And she said, people want to talk to you. And if you're open to it, he said, don't feel any obligation. And I said, I'd love to. And I talked to her at the 1.5-hour ride back home. And I said, I asked her, I said, do you do this for a living? She goes, no, I was told I wasn't supposed to. I just was supposed to do this.
No.
Yes. So
my goodness.
She didn't want to do it for money. And the interesting thing is that she was involved with some homicides in helping find the people. And then
I've worked with some detectives as well. Yes.
I'm not surprised.
I love that work.
Which is why I brought that up, because you have that lean towards you that this is what I'm getting. This is, I need to get this information to you. It's important that I get that information to you.
And I've had them literally give me file folders like this, 3 of them in front of me. And I'll be like, get rid of these 2. They do not pertain to the case. I just need the information in here without even reading through it. And the detectives were like, seriously? And I said, yes, these 2 have nothing to do with this. And they were like, you're correct. So I was like, right off the get-go, let's go. Wow, and I get real serious with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's not always lighthearted, even though
you see things. Ooh, boy, do you see stuff.
Yeah. Well, my coping mechanism is to inject humor. So I'm sure I would be inappropriate in some form or fashion, but
you need that once in a while because it gets real heavy in there. So something like that relieves that heaviness for a while.
Yeah.
So that's good. You need that in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I certainly do, because then it's a little break in the action, and then it allows me to come back to it.
Yes.
So
it's almost like clearing everything out a little bit and then getting back to the main thing.
Exactly. That's it. I want to, I'm going to say something, and I don't mean to embarrass you when I say this, but so obviously Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium, has her show and all of that. Why don't you? You are attractive. You're funny. You're gifted. Where's the Inked Medium show?
You hear that, universe? Let's get it going.
Serious? Why?
I'm working on it.
Are you really good?
I would love to, because then that could have my abilities reach. I mean, I'm all over the world right now, but to be more out there, absolutely. I'm like, come on, networks, let's go.
Yeah, right. Serious.
Seriously, just the bigger you get like that, the more people I could help in one shot.
Yes. Yes. And
that's what this is all about.
And I think that's why it'll come to you.
Thank you. When the timing is right.
So I know that you have an affinity towards music, and obviously I do too. And every show that we have, I have the opportunity to ask the guests some musical questions. Are you cool with that? Or did you want to go over anything else before we jump into that?
I'm ready to go to music.
All right. Well, me too. What was the first song that you remember hearing on the radio as a child that you're going, oh, I love that. I can't wait to hear that one again?
This is going to be because, like I said, my music is so diverse. And it was literally Keep Yourself Alive from Queen.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Love that song. I think I was in the 70s. I was born in 69. So I really, whatever my parents had playing, I would always play. We had those big hi-fis.
Yep.
Would play.
Yep.
Like
stack the records on there.
Yeah, it was so cool. So my mom would have albums out and she would play the Beatles. So I was like, and I would look at the back and, see the songs and see the faces on the albums. And I was like, why are they named after a bug? I asked little questions. Like, I was like real little. And, what the heck was the name of that song? In My Life.
Oh, that
was like, song. So I heard Keep Yourself Alive in my father's Cordoba when I was a little kid. And I'm like, Daddy, what is that? He's like, it's Queen. I'm like, Queen of what? And he's like, no, that's the rock band's name. And I was like, I like this song. And I would try to stand up in my seat as a little kid and dance. And he's like, sit down. But
no car seats back then.
Yeah. And I still love them. And then in my life, I heard that my mom was playing records. So a lot of Beatles growing up, a lot of Queen.
That's so cool.
And to this day, I still break them out. And then there'll be songs like Undercover Angel, Dancing Queen, as the 70s got later.
Yeah.
And Santa Claus would bring me the little 45s. And I'd be in my basement dancing. And that's what I would do. I'd go home, finish my schoolwork, go downstairs and crank the music. And the louder, the better. And then just so many, oh my God, I just to this day, when I'm upset, I go crank up some music and dance.
Oh, yeah.
It cures the soul.
I don't do the dancing so much, but I do the singing. I'll sing along with those.
That's right. You sing.
Yeah. And I love to do that. So how about this one? Because I'm sure Italian families, at least my friends, they would do a lot of vacationing together. And a lot of times it's, drive to the beach, drive to the mountains, drive to wherever. So on those road trips, did you guys ever have a song that everyone would just belt out?
We had a lot of Neil Diamond.
Oh.
Playing in the car, Solitary Man. Love. That's like the road trip song. A lot of Carpenters and a lot of Kenny Rogers, The Gambler, that album.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Ruby was my favorite on that album. Love
Don't
the
take
drums.
Your love to town.
Yes. Love it. But those would come on. And to this day, like I just felt my dad walk in right now.
Wow. I love that. So my mom loved the Carpenters. Loved the Carpenters. And she had my mom was a singer. And she also played the organ, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom was, and I think that's where I got my musical taste and interest, and also some of the gifts that I have were from my mom. But man, that's awesome. Carpenters.
I love it. Anytime I hear them, it just like my heart will hurt a little bit because I miss my dad, but then I know he's always around me. And then I listen to it and it just brings me back to driving down to Florida to visit my grandparents. And we just hear these songs over and over. And
that was we're in Florida.
Daytona.
Really? Wow. So we were on the other side. We'd go to Fort Myers. My family lived in Fort Myers, Cape Coral. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take you back to senior year in high school.
Woo!
And I'm guessing hair in the 80s was out. Yeah. Tricked Out. And you and your girlfriends in the car belting out what song?
Oh my goodness. My favorite song back then, I was a metalhead. Too Young to Fall in Love, Motley Crue.
So I saw them when I was in 84. In
Theater of Pain tour. Yeah.
Yes. In Ronnie James Dio.
Love Dio.
Holy Diver. Yeah. Those were the days. Golden Earring was in that one too.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was so cool. So after high school, did your musical taste change, or
I got heavier with my music?
Really?
I went into the Panteras, the Slayers,
speed metal,
Metallica, Megadeth. Love all that. And it's so funny because a lot of music in, I want to say, the last 20 years, especially like Nirvana, I'm a drum fanatic. I love drummers. So it's going to sound, considering I'm a metalhead,
yeah.
I adore Tony Thompson. Love the way he plays. He's on David Bowie albums. He's on Madonna albums. He had his own bands in the 70s. So all that disco stuff, Nirvana brought a lot of that in on their first album. And I was like, that was at a point like in the 90s where metal was going out and all that, what do they call it, from like Seattle, all that music.
Oh, the grunge rock. Yeah, grunge.
Thank you. All that was coming in. And I'm like, this sounds like the 70s stuff I used to listen to as a kid. And my friends were like,
Dave Grohl and the boys.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite.
Me too.
I don't know how many times I talk about Dave Grohl on podcasts that people are probably, enough with Dave Grohl. We get it that you
love
have
the
a man crush on him.
He's
I would love to hang with him. And do you know that dude is like a master barbecuer too?
Yes. And he feeds the homeless all the time. He'll go out and smoke meat and then just serve it up. Amazing. Yes.
He did that, and then when they had all of the fires, he would he fed the firefighters and the jumpers that were the smoke jumpers that were coming in. He fed them all, and he was just like, I got to do something for him.
And that is so kind, so kind.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
I wish I knew him. I just know him.
Me too. I would love to sit with him.
Yeah,
just to BS over a couple of beers.
Do you know? So, have you ever read his book, The Storyteller?
Many times.
Okay.
And I listen to it on audio. I love it.
Me too. That's my thing is.
And your book reminded me of the way his is, the way you speak in it. I loved it.
Thank you. By the way, I appreciate that. Yeah. He talks about in his book, the otherworldly incident that he had when they bought the house. Yeah. So don't want to ruin that for anybody that hasn't, but
exactly. But I want to talk to him about that.
I bet you would. I mean, that came to mind immediately. You'd be like, okay, let's talk about that. Walk me through that again. So I'd be doing the same thing if I were you. So about these songs that pump you up, make you want to go out and kick ass on the day. What would that be?
Godsmack Awake.
Godsmack songs.
I love Sully's voice. Oh, it's so good. So good.
Listen to you. Oh my God. What a kindred spirit I have found.
Exactly.
It's kind of scary a little bit, but anyway, what about a guilty pleasure song? One that you'd be like, I don't want anybody else to know about this one.
Well, I got a juicy one for you. New Religion from Duran Duran. Listen to the bass line in that. Phenomenal.
So I'm going to, and I will pick that out specifically when I put your playlist together. Yeah, I'll tell you off the air one time when I about picking out the bass line in a song.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So Is there a song that you can think of that the lyrics could change the world around us, or at least the way people think about the world if they just listen to them?
I always go to Wood from Alice in Chains. There's something so significant about that song. It just lifts my spirits. You listen to it, and there's a really, really cool meaning behind it when you understand the lyrics. I mean, the song itself, musically, I love the way it's written, the way it's played, but a lot of the words, an emphasis on certain words as he's singing, which makes you take things certain different ways. But there's, it means a lot to me, and that it can change. It can change the world. You just got to listen to it.
I love that. So, yeah, it's so interesting that you're making, those connections right now.
Thank you.
So, this is my favorite question. Sometimes you hear a song that will stop you in your track, and the song sounds like it was either written specifically for you or by you. What's that song?
In My Darkest Hour from Megadeth. Some people might be like, oh, that sounds so doom and gloomy. No, it's not. You know what? Something happened to you when you were down and out, and somebody didn't treat you right, but you rose from that. You came out of the flames like a phoenix, and you're better for it.
That's very cool. That's it. And I can tell you right now that a lot of times people will have firsts, and they'll have one that is a first that came out in the playlist. You have a lot of them. I mean, you have a lot of firsts in, and I know a number of the songs that you're talking about, and I'm running through them in my mind as you give your answer, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah,
it's nice because everybody hears things differently. So to get different evaluations of a song could make you listen to it differently the next time you hear it.
I'm going to ask you one last question, and I usually don't get to this one, but since you're such a music lover, I'm going to. What's your all-time favorite song? The one that you never get tired of hearing?
Oh. Okay, there's quite a few, but one that actually just stands out. Keep Away from Godsmack. That musically, lyrically, that's a whole solid song right there that uplifts me. I just listened to it this morning when I was working out. It's very motivational for me. Or if I take a little cruise out on my bike somewhere and somebody has it playing in their radio in their car, I'm like, on the bike, like it just, you cannot not move to it. That's
so cool.
Love it. Love it.
All right. Well, I do appreciate your time, and I thank you so much for being so open and honest about everything and talking about and sharing your stories. So thank you.
It was wonderful to be here. I had so much fun with you. Thank you.
Well, it's just about time to cue the music for today's episode. And around here, that's my favorite part of the job. I'm Jim Allsted, and before we drop the needle, two quick things. First, Gina, thank you again for being here today. And can you let our listeners know the best way to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. You can reach me on social media, all platforms, at Inked Medium, INKED, MEDIUM. You can call the office, 516-605-2450, or reach out to me on email, inkedmedium444@gmail.com.
Perfect. And you'll find all of that, plus a link to today's playlist right in the show notes, so you're not going to go searching for that. Second, if this episode found you at the right moment, the best thank you is simple. Like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss what's next. All right, my Drop the Needle posse, like Billy Joel, we've gone from the highs to the lows, and this brings us to the end of our show. Until next time, this is Jim Allsted wishing you infinite health, infinite happiness, and the perfect playlist for your life. Thank you again for being the best part of us. Catch you next time.